He said, let's get this over with. I've got plans. That's
That's
Stephen
right. I
Pearl.
have things to do. I gotta hit the town, baby, the big town. Your
Yeah.
town, my town, our town, a hell of a town.
I have a coat with two pair of plans.
That's what?
I have a coat with two pair of plans.
Oh, there we go. Go with two pair of plants.
No, a coat with two pair of pants. That's
I get
an
it.
old.
It's doing yard work out here, so it's a little hard to hear you.
No, I was doing Chico Marx.
Oh, Chico Marx, let me tell you.
No, he said, I got a coat. Do you have a plan? He said, I have a coat and two pair of plans.
Two pair of plants.
Yeah, plans.
Guy.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Let me turn on my lights here. We will do that interview in a couple of days. The reason I started it was because Phil wasn't here, but now Phil is here. I hope he has a good excuse for not being here on time for our little gathering. Let me see here. Let me go to. There we go. Hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing?
What happened to you tonight?
Well, I went out to dinner. I laid down for a few minutes, and I was snoring. It felt really good. I just woke up.
Oh. Well, I started something else going because, I started the interview there with Stephen Pearl because, but now I cut it once it started, and we'll play it another day and deal with you.
But sounds good.
Yeah. But how dare you, because I was worried about you because you're very good about this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe, I said, oh, geez. I woke up and I said, what's the time?
Yeah.
7:34. Oh, my God. So.
Yeah. So, but you're usually always there, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and I figured as my backstop, I would run the interview with Stephen Pearl. But we'll save that for another day now. But I ran a little bit of it, so everybody hears the first minute or so of it. But
okay.
Yeah, and then on top of it, I'm not here recording it, but my streaming of the show I started late.
Well,
I've been screwing up like crazy. I'm screwing up so much lately that I'm really thinking of packing it in. I really am. I can't keep doing this if I can't remember how A follows B follows C follows D,
but you see, I believe that by doing this kind of stuff, it keeps up your cognitive.
No, but I get really depressed when this. You know what I got depressed about tonight?
Yeah.
So I get an email, and it's from the post office department. Very official, USPS, all the bells and whistles, copyright United States Post Office, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it says we've been trying to deliver a piece of mail to you since the 7th of last month, and we haven't been able to. Would you please give us your current address? So I type it in. I go to their little site, and there it is, USPS, the whole thing. And I fill it out. I give them my address and my phone number. And then it says, your email. I give them my email, and they say password. Well, at that point, instead of giving them my real password, I gave them an old password, the one I've been using for years that I've stopped using because it's been compromised. All right? So I gave them that. And then all of a sudden I realized the return address on it was France. Well, the United States Post Office doesn't work in France, but usually I've been pretty good at catching these things. But this thing looks so real.
I know they clone the website.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to me with eBay. Because I was trying to register my bank, and just about the same time, I get this email asking me for information. And I gave it to them. I started to give it to them, and then I realized, I said, I better call eBay and ask them if this is real.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it wasn't. It was
but that made me feel real old tonight, because usually I catch those things. But this thing was so, number one, I am expecting a package.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's my medicine from Costco, but they don't have trouble with my address. But it comes through USPS, okay? And I happened to be looking it up today because I wanted to make sure it was on its way. And so I was aware USPS was doing that. And so I didn't even stop to think that this was like, phishing. I guess
Right.
it's what this was. It's not like they're going to hold me for ransomware or whatever. Well, I finally realized, so they've got my name, Bennett Schwarzman, they've got my address and my phone number. Okay? Ooh, that's terrible, isn't it? I went
Yeah.
online
Yeah.
and I looked up Bennett Schwarzman, and there's
Right.
my address and my phone number. So it's not information they can't get readily off the web.
Sure.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so
Well,
far
the
as my
password.
so far as my email is concerned, they can get that any number of places as well.
Right. It's the password that.
It's the password, and the password I gave them was one that I just don't use anymore. But I figured they just needed a password so they could send me a two-factor thing or whatever, and it never came through.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got my information, but I don't think they're going to use it for anything nefarious because they could get that information without having to send me
Well,
one of those.
so I registered at the bank once
Yeah.
I did that, and sure enough, my email and password, I guess, or my email. I don't know that I gave them my password. I really don't think I did, but my email showed up on the dark web and had been showing up, and I didn't do anything about it. Well, I bought something from Adorama.
Well, wait a minute. To begin with, where is the dark web? Will you tell me that?
I couldn't see it.
Well, how do you find out if something is on the dark web?
Use a flashlight, but yeah, I don't know. I have no idea where the dark web is, how to get there.
Well, how did you find out you were on the dark web?
I signed up for this thing through my bank that monitors all sorts of stuff, and so
your email address winds up on the dark web. Is that an email address that I can't find somewhere?
not anymore because I had to cancel it, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
It was my best email address. It was my name, Phil Meyer at Comcast.net. But I can't use that because it's,
Why not? Why not?
Well, I'll tell you why. So I order something from Adorama.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in the Thailand, not or no, it wasn't Thailand. It was somewhere in the Orient. Redirected the package or tried to redirect the package because I was using that email address.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that it was stopped is that Adorama said, based on the way I paid for it or something, that they couldn't redirect internationally this shipment. And so they got a hold of me. So what I realized was they were able to see my order.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to try to redirect it, and it was only because of Adorama's security that I found out about it and said, no, don't send it there, and was able to circumvent that ripoff. But so I don't know how they do it, why they
what could they do with your email? I still can't figure out what they could do with your email.
To redirect a pack. They got a notice, just like I did, that that I had ordered something, and they redirected the shipment or tried to have it delivered to their address or a place where they could get it, rather than
Well,
than
okay,
mine.
at Adorama you have an account,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Is
Had
that
email
account
address.
just your email address, or does that account also have a password associated with it?
It has a password, but they were able to see everything.
What do you mean? But they couldn't see your password at Adorama.
I understand.
Unless
they could've-
Adorama has become compromised.
maybe,
Then
but
maybe that was it. And they
I've
just...
had email address since about 1997, and
See,
it
I
was
don't
just-
see where the email address would screw you over.
Well, something screwed me over because they were able to see my order, and they tried to redirect it. So at that point, I realized this isn't any good, and every month prior to that, I would get a report, and your email is on the dark web, and
Yeah, but
you have.
I still don't look. If Alex@gabnet.net, okay, I just said it to everybody out there.
Yeah.
How are they going to be able to use it unless they've got a password for it?
Uh, they must have had my password.
I mean, in fact, you want to let people know what your password is because you write them. You want them to write you back at philmeyer@comcast.net or whatever. And you want them to do that. So,
Right.
so you give out your email all the time. What you don't give out is your password. Now, I gave out my password, but I gave them my old password. I didn't give my new password. So they
I
can't
think
get onto that account if they want to go into it.
On this phishing thing, I must have given them something. Yeah, and I used to use stupid passwords that were
Hold on
easily.
a second. I want to get my earphones straightened out here. Yeah.
So some of the passwords I used to use was the regular the regular ones, and there was one, two, three of them, and I used the same ones over and over and over.
I used one for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used the same one for 20 years. See, I don't care if it's Bubbles' line, but I don't care if they try to steal my identity, then they'll have no life,
Right. When they try to steal your stuff, then you get a little upset.
Well, there's not much they can do. They can't get into my bank because I made sure I have a password there that they don't have. They can't use. And I changed all the things where money was concerned.
Sure.
Okay, so if they try any of those accounts, but I don't want to have to think up too many passwords, to be honest with you. Okay.
Do you use that thing that Rob told you about, that key or whatever? It's one pass. Or...
Yeah, but some of those things are so, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm old, but they're really a pain in the ass, because I was using what is it, Dashlane. Okay, and I still have it. I still pay for it, but it's a pain in the ass. Every time I go, it wants to put in the Dashlane stuff, and I don't want necessarily that, and it's asking me too many questions, and I don't want that, So I mean, and then those other ones, they give you like a password that's long and involved, and then nobody else can get it, but if you don't keep paying those people money,
right. Then you're stuck.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have my own passwords. My new password is much like my old password, only there's a capital letter and there's a @ sign on it and so on. And if that one goes bad, I'll change to something. I'm trying to think of something new to change all of my passwords to.
And then you get a thing from I got a thing from Microsoft or something that says this password is being used on all of these websites or all of these sites. Come up with a new password, and that was some sort of internal thing from Microsoft.
See, I don't care for most of my stuff whether they have my password or not. When it comes to my bank, I made sure I changed that one. In fact, I can't even remember what I changed it to. Do I have it here? Hold on a second. No, I won't bring it up. But I have to check. But I do have my passwords for all the bank, and my password for a lot of what do you call it? PayPal.
Oh, yeah.
PayPal, I had a problem where some kid out in Hong Kong got my address or something and was able to buy through PayPal. And I got a hold of PayPal and I said, how do they do this? And they said, we don't know, but you're not responsible for it. And they stopped payment on it and demanded money back from the company that took the money from them.
Yeah. Well, you were lucky.
And it was only for like $100 or something like that, but still,
Usually when they're phishing and they're trying something like a stolen credit card, they'll do something like for $1, and then all of a sudden there'll be 50 charges. And once they find out that the card is good, then and you might not notice that $1 charge.
I don't know anybody and I asked my business manager this too, because I said, you handle a lot of people, have a lot of money, a lot of credit cards. Okay. How many of them have been compromised? He said, every one of them.
Right.
One time or another. So I've been pretty lucky. Mine hasn't been compromised, but at one point we thought it might be, so we changed the credit card. Big deal.
Yeah.
Plus, the bank takes responsibility for a lot of that kind of stuff. But I don't know, but I just felt really bad that I answered all these questions and gave it to them, not saying to myself, this looks fishy, because it didn't look fishy until after I did that and I looked at the address and it was like
Right.
France.
Well, I've learned that I said to myself, if anybody is asking me for information, you got to look at the address before you start giving it to them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't always live up to that standard. You forget, and it has nothing to do with age or losing your cognitive ability. These guys are good. They're good at ripping.
Well, here's the other thing. I with the post office, I'm signed up for their notifications and stuff like that. So
Right.
this was only natural that I would
Right.
get this kind of thing, and it looked legitimate.
does.
What I did is I took the address that they had, and I sent a message to them that said "fuck you," and immediately it came back to me. They had it so it would route around that you couldn't write directly to that; it would write back to your own address.
Yes, I understand that. I've had that happen to me. Where I've sent somebody something and it came back to me.
Yeah.
And so then I sent it from another address and it went through.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I was complaining about something. And so I sent the first one went from my photo.
Maybe I should do it and send it via one of my other accounts. That wasn't the account that they sent it to.
Yeah. But on the other hand, maybe you're better off not having any more contact with people that are this nefarious.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they want out of me.
They want your stuff. Just like me, but I actually gave them enough that I wound up on the dark web. I remember typing in something, and it was once I realized that I had been duped, I was beside myself. But I didn't think it was as bad as it turned out to be, which was I was on the dark web. But I paid like $8 or $11 a month for some sort of monitoring protection. I got it through my bank. It wasn't the one that you hear advertised all the time that, oh, we'll give $1 million for your identity theft. But it was something like that. And every time they reported, I'd get an email that said, we've scanned and your email address is on the dark web. So I called Comcast.
Yeah, but I want to know where this dark web is. What do they mean by the dark web?
I don't know. It's probably
the dark web. It's like an old joke I had when I was 14 years old. The dark web. It's up a spider's ass.
It really is.
Huh?
Well, it's where they trade Bitcoin and do all sorts of. They sell drugs and all sorts.
Well,
of
that's
things.
something else we got to do away with or fight. And I know a lot of people are going to yell at me for saying this is Bitcoin, and I'm going to tell you why. Because its main usage is for illegitimate transactions of money.
Yes.
If they had themselves somewhat open, so that it could be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Traced.
Huh?
Traced. I think.
Traced, that you could vet the money and so on. That would be a different story, but you can't. The fact is it's only being used for drugs and what else, Well,
I don't know. Tesla's starting to take it for the purchase of their cars.
Well, that's very nice, but,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Selling drugs on the side? I don't know.
Hey, I always figured I only had two bits to rub together. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have 2 bits to rub together.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law always said to me, I would never amount to anything. He's probably not doesn't have 2 bits he can rub together.
Yeah, but I mean, it just pisses me off, the whole goddamn thing. I mean, I'm tired of having to constantly protect myself against this stuff. There was a time when you didn't have to worry about any of this.
Well, there was a time that everything on the internet was free. I was hungry this afternoon. I've done.
Well, there was a time before the internet, okay?
Oh yeah,
when none of this happened.
yeah. But
Where if you were going to get robbed, it was at gunpoint.
Yeah, but do you remember when the internet first came out? Everything was free, and everybody said, "There's no way you can monetize this," and you could look up anything. Now, as soon as you try to look something up, they want you to subscribe. They want you to give money. They want you to hit the bell.
I got a question for you. So
Yeah.
Biden goes, he talks to Putin. He says, if you don't stop this stuff, because Putin claims he has nothing to do with it.
This list of 16.
What it's happening is it's going on in his country. And there isn't anything he doesn't have control of in that country. Okay? But anyway.
I don't think that that's a reasonable basis of assumption. You know, look, if you look at this country, now there are some things.
Phil, it is a good basis of assumption because look at them, all right? Look at the Soviet Union. Look how it's controlled. Look how it's forget it. If he wanted to stop this ransomware from going on, even though he isn't doing it himself, okay, he could stop it tomorrow with a bullet. I mean, he could. All right.
But hey, look, in China, some guy looked at a website. I just read about it. He looked at a website, and I forgot what it was about, but they killed him. So there are.
So come on, Putin. If you're an evil, horrible guy, just be evil and horrible and get rid of this crap.
There's nothing in it for him to do that. What's in it for him?
But anyway, the point I'm making, here's the point I'm making. So Biden says to him, well, this has got to stop, and if it continues, we're going to retaliate. How are we going to retaliate? Number one, we're not very good at this sort of thing. Now, we're great at technology, okay? But we're not very good at hacking, because while we were busy building technology, we weren't hacking. All right? These guys are like a whole industry sitting in Moscow or some one of those satellite countries, spending their whole day doing ransomware heists, and nobody's stopping them.
Did Trump retaliate?
He didn't.
Yes, he did.
He didn't. He kissed Putin's fucking ass.
There were more sanctions on Russia under Trump.
No, there weren't. No, there weren't. He was playing nice with.
I don't think so. He played nice with one hand and sanctioned them with the other.
Yeah.
But that's the way you do it. Is you sanction and you put tariffs and you embargo countries from dealing with them, and that hurts them economically, and then the guy will turn around. We're not a country that if you hack us, we're going to hack you.
Well, I'm saying we don't really know how to do that kind of hacking, And what we should have done a few years ago, at one point, it was a great story. Years ago, the United States needed to build up a marijuana supply for medicinal purposes and for testing and to see what the drug was all about.
Wasn't that stuff synthetic?
No. They went out and they found people they had busted for growing pot. And they said, you won't get thrown in jail. Just come work for the government and grow us some of your finest shit.
That's
all right?
The way they,
and that's how we learned a lot about the growing of marijuana. Okay. We should have done the same thing. We should do the same thing with hackers. We should get the best hackers in America. As you bust them, you tell them it's either jail or you go to an office in Washington, D.C.
World pretending he was a airline pilot and he was this and he was that. It was with Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you remember that movie?
No.
All right. Well, eventually, I guess the FBI hired him the real guy, Frank Abernathy or something. They hired him to find out how he did these things.
Really?
Yeah. So I believe that they use hackers. That we have had hackers in this country, and they use them to try to counter other threats. But I was going to tell you one other thing. I went to a McDonald's drive-through today. I was hungry, and my sugar must have been low, and it was right there. So I go through, and I said, okay, give me a Big Mac. And the woman says to me, it's $5 and something, but do you have the McDonald's app? And I said, no, I don't have the McDonald's app. And she says, well, if you have the McDonald's app, it's $1 less. And I said, no, I'm not getting the McDonald's app. Just give me my shitty burger. Let me go. Yeah, I didn't say shitty, but
Are they trying to push the McDonald's app on you?
Right, because what's happening is they're trying to use less people because they can't hire anybody. I'm in the same position, but the McDonald's, if you go inside, they have kiosk, and you press the buttons, and probably eventually, if you have the McDonald's app, it knows what you want, and so you go in, you put your ID in, and it says this is your normal meal, and they're going to be getting rid of people and doing this over the internet.
Wow.
But you go into Safeway, you go into Whole Foods, you show an ID. At Whole Foods they have a thing that you get some discounts at the register. Same with Safeway. And so they know what you've bought, when you've bought it, who you are, what your shopping patterns are. And do you think that they're not using this information to sell?
Oh, by the way, I got something. I read something today, and I passed it on to Rob, for instance, because he uses the program. Do you use a program called Audacity?
I don't use it because I have the Adobe one, but I don't know how to use that one either.
I do. Well, of course, I know how to use it But anyway, I used Audacity on a couple of occasions. I didn't.
Free.
It's free. It's a what they call a
open source.
Open source.
Right.
So what happened is they found out, company was bought up by another company. They're selling all your information. It is literally it's now kind of spyware that looks into your machine, tells what your machine does, tells what you buy, things like that, passes it on to Russia.
Wow, in California.
So if you've got Audacity on your machine, or the audacity to have Audacity on your machine, take it off. Even right now, we're doing our program. While we're there, just go into wherever you go and remove Audacity from your machine.
Wow. So that's also a way they can get all of your stuff.
Yep.
And then hack you.
So how do you know that is what McDonald's isn't trying to do?
Audacity to sell me a Big Mac for $5.89.
$5.89?
Yeah.
For a Big Mac, you should stay away from those anyway. They're not good.
Oh yeah, and I've been doing a really good job of doing that. But today I succumbed to my weakness, and
But anyway, I felt like an idiot doing this today, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. But I can't see how it will, except maybe I might get a lot of spam, a lot of loaded up mail in my box.
You can get one of those services. You just pay by the month, and for $7 or $8, and they'll monitor all that stuff. And then if you find that you've got something that's out there that you don't want to be out there, you can get rid of it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the worst that can happen is I get a lot of email. And the point is that email address is on my fucking website, for crying out loud.
But I understand, and you were smart enough to give them a phony,
an out of date password. But I didn't think about that. I just thought that they just wanted a password, so I gave them the old one.
Right. Just to come up with a password.
I swear to you, if I showed you the piece of mail, I could show people the piece of mail. It looks so authentic. It's ridiculous.
eBay thing that I fell for was an exact replica of the eBay site. The eBay site when you do things with
Why
them.
doesn't eBay do something about that?
They're as powerless as Putin. you know.
What do you mean? I don't think Putin is powerless. Please don't call a guy who literally is the richest man in the world because he robs from everybody in his country. Just a poor guy who's a sucker. Hey, listen, I've run out of time here.
You know that Russia has the economy that's no bigger than Italy.
Well, unless you're Putin.
Yeah, well, that's because everything they do is on the dark web.
Here's what Putin did. He simply went to all the oligarchs and said, "You don't want to get arrested. You give me like 20% of your income." And he gets like 20% of the income of all these oligarchs every year. He's worth something. Supposedly, he's worth over $200 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
next he'll come out with a social platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be more.
Right. Hey, listen, we better go because it's important that I get to these other people.
Sorry, I was late.
Yeah. But I enjoy talking with you, so that's why we keep talking with you.
All right, I enjoy it.
Anyway, goodbye. We'll see you later.
Hey, have a great
talk
show.
Talk down the backside, and I'll call you at home and talk to you.
All right.
All right. Bye. Anyway, sorry, folks, that went a little long, but, I think it was an important discussion that we were having there. I think it's important that you all had a chance to hear it, But I'll start admitting all the people who want to get on today and talk about stuff, and here they come. Oh, and it's a nice little batch of people. There's Jeff. We see half of Jeff's head. Get yourself... There we go, Jeff. We've got Brian Ludwig. He's here. And we got Alan here. And we've got Vernon Nunn here. You're back home now, right? Vernon?
Yes, I'm sitting in my Lazy Boy recliner. Even if it does say Ann Nunn, it's me.
Lazy Boy recliner. Boy,
I like the name Ann.
Yeah. And of course, there's Charlie Wallace, and there's Trucker Steve. What is that, Trucker Steve? You've got some kind of...
I was in the hospital for 4 days.
You were in the hospital. Oh, you said you were going in, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the hospital because my kidneys were failing.
What?
Oh no!
Sorry to hear that.
So what did they do?
Say it was serious when you told us about. My God! Until you posted it on Facebook, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I almost died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Wait a minute. Tell us about this a little bit.
This is for dialysis. It's only temporary. It's going to be removed in a couple of days, and then I'll have something put in my chest. And then for the next 6 weeks, we'll go 3 times a day, or 3 times a week, to the hospital for dialysis. And then after 6 weeks, they will insert a catheter in my belly button, which I will do dialysis at home until I have a transplant available.
Oh boy.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
So my career as a truck driver is essentially over.
Because you can't drive with... It'll jostle those kidneys all to hell. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
Yeah, the lifestyle of eating bad food and just not being active enough and sitting on your ass for 12 to 14 hours a day.
Wow.
Just
wow.
stuck.
Wow. I'm sorry I didn't. I don't pay attention like Charlie does to all the other people here. I don't check the internet to see what they're doing or whatever. But Charlie does. Charlie's very good about that.
I'm retired.
So am I. But look at me. But
He's healthy looking. He doesn't stop at McDonald's because he's diabetic and eat the worst thing, all carbs and a couple little slivers of meat.
It broke my heart because I had to give up Big Macs.
I haven't had I've had carbs, but not a lot of carbs. I don't eat anything with sugar in it. I don't eat any ice cream or anything like that. I'm like a diabetic. I don't take
Cutting way back.
yeah.
How boring.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's boring. I mean, maybe if my doctor told me you got 3 months to live, I'd start eating hot fudge sundaes. I wouldn't worry about my weight, about my sugar content and whatever.
I don't worry about my weight either.
Yeah.
I weigh 300 pounds. I'm already fat.
Yes, Brian.
Regarding, I apologize. I don't. What is his name? The man who almost
Trucker
died?
Steve.
Trucker Steve. I do remember when I was going to CDL school back in 2009 and 2010. There was a gentleman. Now he, as I vaguely recall, he seemed to be in a little better shape than Trucker Steve. But he did say that he was on dialysis and that they were able to recruit him for more local runs and whatnot. As long so he would be. It would balance out with his,
Well,
lifestyle of having to get to a dialysis machine.
Yeah.
and a
Yeah,
dialysis-
apparently it sounds like they now have it so that you can do it at home, It's a do-it-yourself thing, right, Steve?
Yeah, they have a machine where you could just basically you do it at night when you're going to bed,
Oh, okay. Does it
so you
keep
have
you?
the day free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably do it in the truck, but no.
Forget about the truck for the time being.
But for right now, you got to recover. I understand.
How did you find out that you suddenly had this problem? I mean, did it?
from the past month, I've been feeling a little ill,
Mhm.
and it just gradually got worse.
Ill in what way?
Just I would vomit just randomly out for no apparent
Oh,
fucking reason.
that's pleasurable for everybody around you.
Is-
I'd be driving down the road and literally would just vomit. I did this.
Wow.
I throw up while driving down the road,
Oh,
and I have
boy.
to stop and pull over and get out of the truck and just.
So you went to a doctor, I assume, to see what was happening.
Well, I was kind of stubborn about going because I was worried about losing everything, like the house and stuff, losing my job and stuff. And my wife convinced me and her family to go to the hospital. We were supposed to go to Niagara Falls for the weekend, but my face coloring wasn't looking good. They said I looked really bad. My breathing was bad. So they convinced me to go to the emergency room,
I'm glad they did.
Boy.
Yeah.
and it saved my life because I probably would have died eventually.
Were both kidneys bad?
Both of them got bad. Yeah,
Wow.
they said they both were not working.
What's the likelihood with medicine in Canada that you will get a kidney transplant fairly soon?
I've already had a couple of offers for transplants. My mom has even offered to
Great. That's
give
great.
one.
Yeah, I was going to say relative sometimes. You can live with one kidney. So,
I've had another, my friend's cousin, who is younger than me, offered me a kidney. She's a type O negative blood, I think, which is a universal blood.
Mm-hmm.
There are more factors in getting a kidney. It's not just the blood type.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's a good thing, then yeah, then she can do the testing and see if she's a full match.
Okay.
Because I'm not
Wow.
sure if I put my mom through the surgery because she's 74.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, but at her age, she could, I guess, if it's safe, if the operation is safe, could probably more afford to, give up a kidney than younger people, just simply because she doesn't have a whole life ahead of her that she has to lead with one kidney. You get what
yeah,
I'm
but a
saying?
lot of people, younger people, live with one kidney and live
Yeah.
a normal life.
Hell, take both of mine.
Yeah, there you go.
Take
Right.
my kidney, please.
Assuming they're compatible.
Yeah. So, are you on dialysis right now as you're sitting there?
No, my dialysis, I go in tomorrow morning to the hospital, 8 o'clock for about 2 to 3 hours, and then 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I have the weekends free. But when I do it at home, I'm not sure if it's going to be every day or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But they'll explain everything to me once I.
Well, we everybody here, I'm sure, will be keeping out a good thought for you. You know.
Right.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, boy, I saw the thing on the side of your face. I figured, what the hell is that? And what is it exactly?
It's a tube connector.
Oh,
Right
I
now,
see.
They're covered with gauze. Well, right now they take this off,
Yeah.
and when I go into the hospital, they put the tube and
Yeah,
the
but
connector.
why is it in your face?
I am not sure why they put it up here. I go in Friday.
Well, everybody's wearing them, okay? It's the fashion.
After surgery to have the thing put in my chest,
Yeah.
and 6 weeks later they'll put the catheter in my belly.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Jeff, why don't
And
you,
by the way, for those of you out there who say, "Gee, you know, when you have something go wrong in Canada, it takes forever, right, to get taken care of." Wrong.
It's a myth.
You know, you went into the hospital with this thing on what day when you first decided you
Thursday.
Hmm?
By Friday, I was in Chatham, Ontario hospital, and they rushed me to London by ambulance.
See, so for anybody who
Friday.
says that in Canada it takes forever to get an operation, no.
he hasn't got the operation yet.
He
Well,
won't go bankrupt. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bill,
yeah,
zero.
zero.
Yep.
Is there
Unlike
some kind of thing that federally you can get a kind of a stipend to take care of some of your financial
Well, I could
needs?
apply for unemployment insurance,
Mm-hmm.
for medical leave,
Mm-hmm.
and then get disability afterwards.
Okay. Does that pay okay?
Probably not quite as much as what I was making as a driver.
Now wait a
but,
minute. You're saying not as much as you were making as a driver, but here in America you would say no. You know, I mean, so
FYU.
Thank God he's not. I didn't know. I didn't think he was. I thought he was American. So I was going to say he'd be screwed.
yeah, no, he's Canadian, so he's not screwed.
God.
You know, but I'm sure he'd like to be earning a living, and you know, you seem to enjoy the life on the road. You know,
yeah, yes and no.
you're getting tired of it. Huh?
I'm done.
Mm.
Even if I get healthy again,
Mhm.
I'm not going back.
Get a GoFundMe thing to help you out with expenses, and we can all donate to it.
Absolutely.
I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be that you're going to be taken care of enough by Canada, by the Canadian system. You know, somebody have their hand up there? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go to Jeff first, and then let's go to Brian. Jeff?
Well, I'll just say that my dad had dialysis and went through this whole system that you were talking about in the United States, but and he survived for, I would say, 5 years or something like that. But he was an older guy. He was not, you know, he was retiring at the same time. So it's a very demanding problem to have to go 3 days a week,
Yeah.
have them stick you in a pump, and actually your blood is being refiltered through your whole system.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything else at the same time. So it's
Takes several hours.
Well, you can read magazines.
maybe. Don't be so, you know.
Yeah. I'm sure they have television sets there.
Yeah. And of
We got
course,
a couple of umpires that have.
You
to
know,
have
it's funny.
dollars.
One of my favorite shows on television, regular television, is a show called Be Positive. And the show is about a guy who finds out he has the problem that, that Trucker Steve here has, and that he's got to go through dialysis. Now, that is the premise for a comedy. And then, to make the premise for a comedy even more difficult, he falls in love with a woman who has terminal cancer.
Why not?
And the laughs ensue. But I felt that it was really brave of Chuck Lorre who did it. Who's one of television's best comedy producers. He did Big Bang Theory and so on. That it was a very brave move to take that as a topic for comedy. Every show opens up with them all sitting around getting dialysis, and this group of people getting dialysis, and how they've kind of bonded with each other. And it's a very good show. So that's what I know about dialysis is a show about dialysis. Yes, Alan.
Brian was first.
No, Brian. Excuse me, I forgot Brian. Sorry.
That's
I'm an old man. You have to remind me.
well, I'll be 40 in February, so it'll be less than a year away, and I'm in my 4th decade of existence.
All
Well,
downhill
then
from
you will be almost half the age I am.
Nevertheless, 2 questions. One was a more superficial one, but and I want to get to that. But first, regarding another follow-up. God, am I losing my train of thought?
Oh, you're worse than I am. Good.
I'll go back to music.
Just
Oh, I
wondering.
remember. I remember. I understand, Steve, that you are wanting to get out of the trucking industry. Does this mean you also want to get out of, since you have a CDL, since you went through all that training, you can, if you do a career change, will it in any way, shape, or form dovetail with transportation, even if it is local?
I haven't decided. I thought maybe, I don't know, maybe city bus work.
How about dispatching
That too.
in an office?
What
Yeah, I've thought about that.
does your wife work?
Yeah, she works in an auto parts plant factory.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Let's see here. Who had his hand up next?
Yeah, I did.
Alan, and then back
So-
to Brian.
So don't get so depressed. I know it's a big shock right now, but in this country, I think around the world, they have portable dialysis machines all over the place, on cruise ships, all over the place.
Well, on cruise
Yeah,
ships, they
so-
need them for all those Altacaccas,
Yeah, well, they're all over 80, so they're near death anyhow. So it's a joke. So anyhow, but yeah. So in this country, and I'm sure once COVID's under control around the world, your life before you get your kidney will be pretty much normalized. I mean, it won't be the same, but it'll be, it's not like, I mean, there's a lot of hope here.
Let me
And
add. Yeah.
Kidney
Yeah.
transplants are done every day around the world, and I think once you get a kidney, other people can live with only one kidney, and you can too.
No, he will only have one kidney, but both of them are bad. Besides the fact that you have people who are willing to help you, did they tell you what the wait was like for a kidney?
It could be months down the road. It could be like 6 months.
Okay, but there is a due date, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you're probably feeling very depressed about this right now, but you're alive. That's the good news, and I think you're going to find things are going to get better as time goes on. Yes, Charlie had a.
Well, Brian
let me,
was coming up.
Brian first. Yes, Brian.
This is a more superficial question. You can index this for later on in the show. Just change it down the road. No pun intended. I understand, Alex. I remember you saying a few years ago, in fact, that you were following a show called American Gods.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched the 3rd season, their most recent season, and the end. I had a theory I wanted to bounce ideas off you for.
Well, you can bring that up later. I only watched the first year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, then it
I found the second year started to bore me a little bit. you
Okay.
know, So,
All right.
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, Alan seems to be buying the propaganda from the U.S. health system. I mean, Alan seems to be, but I've got 3 umpires in the Austin Softball Umpire Association that have been waiting for 3 years or more on the kidney transplant wait list, and they have to go in 3 times a week for dialysis. So it's a lot worse here in the U.S. than it is in Canada.
I don't want to hear anybody bellyache to me about how bad medicine is in Canada, Phil, because it isn't. Because Steve here is proof of that. No, you don't wait forever to see a doctor. He went to a hospital. They said, you got 2 bad kidneys. We got to take care of you. They rushed him in an ambulance to a hospital that could take care of him. They did everything all over the weekend. Last Friday, you probably weren't even thinking about this happening, right? And yet they were there on the spot. So don't let me hear from anybody out there that in Canada you wait forever for a kidney operation or whatever, because it's just not true. Just not true. He's very fortunate that he lives in Canada.
An answer to your earlier question with you and Phil, what is the dark web? It's the Republican National Committee, isn't it?
On our website, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
According to Google, it's a parallel internet.
I don't like to bring up Trump very often, but I will bring him up. Did you happen to see the thing Donald Jr. sent out of Donald riding the back of an eagle
Yeah.
with a shotgun in his hand and Mount Rushmore behind him with all the presidents wearing MAGA hats?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I
no,
hear
I'm
that
telling
they
you the
started
truth.
to chisel in Mount Rushmore a picture of him or carving of him, and if you stand back a ways, it looks like a penis.
Oh, okay. I see. There was one president there. How many presidents on Mount Rushmore? I think there were. Oh, there are 4.
Four.
Okay.
Or
I was wondering if one was missing in that picture. I mean, number one, I think that's a terrible thing of them to do to Mount Rushmore, to have them all wearing MAGA hats, And then the American Eagle with Donald Trump riding it with a shotgun in his hand, and you're going, are you kidding me?
And they bitch and complain about Colin Kaepernick and other people kneeling in the national anthem, and they do this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. And on the 4th of July.
Of course.
But if anybody wants to see it, you can go online probably and just, Yes, John?
I love the way all the right-wing talking heads are talking about the black lady who is getting banned for smoking dope from the Olympics, the sprinter.
Yeah.
And they're saying, well, you just got to follow rules. You have to follow the rules. But when it comes to getting fucking COVID shots, it's like we have the freedom with our body to do what we want. Like, what a bunch of fucking
the thing is that with a woman, I kept saying to myself, marijuana is legal almost everywhere in the United States now, and the only thing that's wrong with her doing pot is that it might impede on her performance. Other than that, there's nothing illegal about what she's doing, and it also, I don't think it violates any of their drug protocols. I mean, come on, if you're allowed to take aspirin, you should be allowed to smoke dope. Okay? What they don't want you taking are any drugs that would enhance your performance. And I got to tell you, marijuana ain't going to enhance your performance at the Olympics. As a matter of fact, you're just going to get hungry, run off the track, and go get a Big Mac.
Yeah.
if you look up the picture of that eagle, you see it's not an American eagle; it's a Russian eagle.
It is?
I'm kidding. I don't know.
What is that Olympic event with the spears or the poles that they go and is it
Pole
what's it called?
Pole vault.
Javelin.
Pole vaulting. So maybe maybe Viagra would be considered, or Cialis would be considered a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, improve the performance of said event. You know, they
Brian
don't need
made
the
a
pole
point.
anymore.
It would help in pole vaulting. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
I have a friend who can testify to that.
Yeah, I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I really don't understand it. Because I just don't see where her performance is going to be enhanced by the smoking of weed. I can see how it might be degraded by using weed. I don't know about you, but when I smoke, I smoke to, the only time I smoke marijuana at night is when I want to go to sleep. And I decide I don't want to take any of my pills. So I take some pot. It puts me right to sleep. I don't care. I can't imagine running. Well, I can't imagine running. But I can't imagine running on pot. So I don't understand the whole thing. And
My problem is if I smoke weed, I eat Big Macs all night long.
yeah.
I haven't smoked weed since I was a kid.
Yeah.
If I smoke pot, I roll up in a fetal position in the corner of my studio. for
I
about a
become
year.
very withdrawn.
Huh? Yeah.
That's why, like, I people always say to me, "Were you ever high doing your show?" And I said, one night I
Always.
smoked marijuana before I went on the radio. This was in Minneapolis, and somebody called up, and I was stoned, okay, and said, "Blah blah blah. Do you think blah 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 blah?" And my reply was, "What the fuck do I care?" And then I had to push. We had a delay. I had to push the button on me. I said, "Well, I'm never gonna smoke this shit before I do a show again," and I never did.
You should have used one of my lines. What the fuck? What do I know? I'm just a fucking bus driver.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just a fucking DJ or
Yeah.
radio host.
How's everything with
You
your
are a
health,
bus driver.
Vernon Nunn? Because Vernon Nunn had what I had. He had prostate cancer. Not a
I just had
Boy,
a
there's
lot
no secrets on this show.
no.
I just had a lot of heat
Cows.
today. Tuesday's my volunteer day for Habitat, so
Yeah.
I was out wiring 2 houses,
Oh, jeez.
and it got pretty hot, so we knocked off early.
Yeah, you don't want to kill yourself. I mean, you want to. It's nice that you do Habitat for the Humanities, but we don't want you killing yourself for it.
Yeah, I think my wife would be a little pissed.
I think it'd be a lousy way to die.
Think of all that insurance money she would get.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Trucker Steve. You had a life-threatening experience. You say you came that close, right? Did you stop to think about that afterwards? How close you came?
Yeah,
And
yeah, it was scary.
yeah, and how did you feel at the time?
I don't know. I just,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
I know it's kind of weird.
Do
But
you have kids, Steve?
No,
no,
So just a wife and Rocky.
yeah,
that's right.
Rocky's my kid.
I know. I get that.
Yep.
Rocky, a dog or a cat or what?
Dog. Yeah.
Kind.
Very cool dog.
Cool little black dog that used to, black haired dog that would ride with him.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
After all that trucking, you think Rocky could drive for you?
Did Rocky seem concerned?
No, not really.
Well, you spoiled that dog.
Probably didn't know what's going on.
Well, no.
Well, I think we're all happy that you took care of yourself and that you're still here, Steve.
Yeah.
And we think, and I'm sure we all wish you, I certainly do, and I'm sure everybody else does, the best. And I think you'll be okay.
I don't think we've had, tonight, Phil usually calls me about 5 minutes before I go on the air, or as I start playing the commercials and stuff, the ads. And he's waiting in the wings to go on. And tonight, when I was through playing the theme song, he wasn't there.
Lucky us.
And
I mean,
no-
I'm sorry. What a horrible thing to say.
No, I was worried. I was
buddy.
genuinely worried about him. As one of the people who has faced certain, problems physically, and I worried about him that, maybe if he died, I wouldn't hear about it.
Oh yeah, you would.
And if some of you hadn't died, I'm sure Brian Neary hasn't called tonight, but I think he's probably still alive. But if something happened to any of you, I wouldn't really know. I might hear about Jeff. And certainly if I didn't appear anymore, you'd just know that it was all over. But I don't think we've had anybody on this program die, with the exception of my ex-wife Ronnie, who I used to do as an interview here. But that was it. She never called into the program. So I can't say.
There was one guy that did.
Yeah.
Who?
I can't remember his name. O'Brien just wrote on the chat room, I'm alive.
No, he says, I'm alive. Yeah, well, we figured you are, Brian, because I heard.
that Rockwell
Rockford or
person?
something like that. Somebody named Rockford.
I heard from him on Monday, on our Monday show, because he called in from the beach or something with his daughter. I believe it was Monday he called, so I have seen him. Yes, Brian, the other Brian.
Regarding what Charlie said about somebody who used to call in here who has since passed on, I want to say that the name John Rockwell comes to mind.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
of
that's
course.
the one. Yeah.
And how
New
could I
York, New Yorker, too.
how could I forget him? Because I knew him for years before he ever came on here.
You two work together, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, yeah, he used to work for me at Midnight Blue. Yeah.
What's your big secret that you were going to tell everybody today?
I didn't say today. I said the 12th.
I know, but Phil was.
You were trying
sure.
to. You were trying. Phil
Phil
no-
was absolutely sure it was going to be today, and I told him, nope, it's next week.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. It's next week.
Right.
The reason
He's listening to the
Phil
show.
already
Maybe-
knows. I told Phil.
I know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you told him, but he said, "Oh, he's going to disclose it today," and I said, "No, it's next week."
No, it's
No,
next week.
No,
It's next week.
today.
The only reason is that the announcement is going to be made on the 12th or something. What day of the week is the 12th?
Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Monday 12.
So I guess I can probably. I'll tell it to the 4 o'clock audience.
All right.
Everybody has to call in at 4 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be the first to know.
Alex, do you remember that lady who used to be on the radio right after you?
Yes. What's her name? Oh, God.
Miranda?
I can't remember.
Randy Rhodes,
No, not Randy Rhodes.
Miranda?
No,
Stephanie
no.
Miller.
No, not Stephanie Miller. He means on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
Liz, what's her
No,
name?
no.
Lynn
Lynn.
Lynn, that's what it was. Lynn.
Yeah, Lynn.
Lynn Samuels.
Lynn said.
Samuels.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, her death was, I went into mourning on that one. Oh, yeah. Not. She was a miserable human being.
It was a whack job.
Some people on the air play a miserable human being, and off the air you say, really very nice person. Well, you never said that about Lynn Samuels. You had to keep yourself from using the word cunt, okay?
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. And she was just, I'll tell you how terrible she was. They asked me on my program to do a memorial for her on the show. And I'm thinking to myself, you're coming to the worst guy, because she used to just hate me. Okay, you're coming to the worst guy to do a memorial, but okay, we'll put something together, and I'll sound sincere, because my feeling is if you can't be sincere, at least fake it. Okay, so we do the show, and one of the guests by phone is her sister, and I bring her on, and I say, "Hello, this is Lynn's sister, blah blah blah," and I said, how do you feel about it? She says, I couldn't care less. I said, what do you mean? She said, Lynn was the most miserable human being I've ever known in my life. You know, so I can't sit here and feel sorry. And I went, well, if she can't feel sorry, I don't have to. You know, I mean, the one person that should feel sorry is her sister, right? No, she said she's just a miserable human being and people should know that. And we knew that, you know. It was very sad.
Yeah.
That I didn't get to say goodbye to her, you know, whatever.
But
You know what
didn't she
happened?
do her show from a studio in her apartment?
Yes. She kept wanting to do a show from her apartment. She was doing a COVID show before there was COVID. Okay?
Sure.
And so here she comes doing her show on from her home, and on a Saturday, which she did Saturday and Sundays were her shows in the end. And it was Saturday and it was her show, and they flipped the switch to go to her, and there's nothing there. And then they play some music. I don't know what they did. They vamped or they played a recording or something like that. And they kept trying to call her, and there was no answer. So they tried for about 2 days. And finally, they decided to send the cops in to see if she was okay. And they knock on the door, and there's no answer. So they break down the door, and they go in, and there she is, stiff as a board, dropped dead. She was there for 2 days before anybody knew or really cared that she was dead. And I suppose if she had a cat, half of her would be gone, you know. But she was dead for 2 days before they found her. And,
Wow.
That shows you how many friends she had that nobody knew she was dead. You know.
Wow.
So that's my Lynn Samuels story. Yeah, people keep mentioning John Rockwell. I felt really bad about that one. I'm glad you guys remembered. I had somehow forgotten that John had called the show a lot. And I always liked John. He was a sweet guy. And we'd always said we were going to get together and hang out, and we never did it. And so, what the hell? So they held a memorial for him, and I went to that. You know, a lot of people showed up. It was very nice. Very nice. And hello to Brian Neary. Hi, Brian.
I'm alive.
Those were some cute pictures of that kid of yours.
Yeah, she had a blast.
Yeah.
And the other two did too. They're very shy and quiet, and they actually met my friends' kids, and we had a great time. So 8 families. There was 8 of us that used to hang out together. Now we all have families, 2 or 3 kids, so we all had camping spots and RVs and all that stuff, and took boats out and jet skis and drank in the water. Not drank the water.
All the pictures you sent me of her, at least 2 of the pictures you sent me of her, she was asleep in the boat. Now, you're supposed to be the one who falls asleep, not her.
No, I was the first one up. Every day, 5:30, when the sun comes up, I was up.
What'd you do, really exhaust yourself, like swimming and things like that?
Yeah, she was swimming and doing everything she could. Yeah, she was having a blast. So
yeah, she looked like she was having a great time.
Yeah, it was good to see Simon and Stephanie talking and hanging out and laughing.
Yeah.
It's hard to get them together, but now, you know, like my friend has Super Bowl parties and all these things, and when they've come, they've just been shy. Now they actually have good friendship that they start forming this weekend, so it's really nice.
Well, as the kids get older, they get sociable too, you know.
Yeah.
I just got a note from Jack Bishop that he might not be able to do a show tonight because he's having internet problems. At least that's what it says here. Internet modem problems.
Turn it off and turn it back on.
Can he hear us? He probably can't hear us. Well, let's see here. Maybe he has an iPhone. He could use that. Jack, just he's right. Turn the modem on and off.
Do you remember that South Park They did a
Yes.
whole episode when the city was like turning. What, Brian? The whole city was like generating down. All the power was going out and everything, and they finally made it to the modem.
Hey, Brian, do you remember the spooky ghosts?
Oh yeah. But they finally made it to the modem. But they finally made it to the modem, like Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. He said, "Turn it off, and then turn it back on." And they did it, and then all the power came back on, saved the whole South Park. So
Well, that's that's the one thing I always tell Marjorie. Alex, it isn't working. I say, did you turn it on and off? No. What do I tell you to do when something doesn't work? You turn it off, and then you turn it back on. And then if it's not working, come call me. Okay? Today, all of a sudden, she did some, I don't know, I think she turned some switch on and off. Anyway, I've got these little plugs that have a Wi-Fi in them, and then I can just tell Alexa to turn the lights on and off. For instance, in here, wait a minute, let me show you this just so you can see. I'll turn these lights off, okay? So you can't see me now. Echo, turn off Office. See?
Yeah.
And those are all,
Echo, turn on Office. Echo, turn off all power at Alex's house.
Echo, turn on wife.
Echo,
off wife.
Echo,
File divorce.
Echo, turn on Office. There we go. You didn't see them come on because I'm using the green screen and these lights here and so on. But I've got, so we have this plug, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working with the Wi-Fi or whatever. So I was spending a half hour trying to fix this thing because it's a matter of programming it. And so finally I put it really close to the modem, and it finally did it. But it took me like a half hour, and she's sitting there watching tennis. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more annoying when you're trying to fix something than hearing a TV set at full volume going, "Bah, bah." And occasionally with some players, it's
You forgot the grunting. There you go.
Now we're lucky because it's the French Open and it's clay court. Once we get to Wimbledon, it's squeak, squeak. So
That's why I can't watch men's tennis.
yeah.
Women's tennis, okay.
Oh, by the way, Josh Wheeler on our chat just said, just saying
Early?
hello from the harbor at Duluth, Minnesota, where I'm watching the big freighters roll in. Couldn't call, but hoping to on Friday night. So that's from Josh, who's out there on the highways and byways of America on vacation. Worst time to be on the highways and byways of America, right, Steve? I mean, the traffic has got to be terrible, you know.
It's back in Austin.
It is bad in Austin,
We
but
got
you
the
you
traffic's
would
back.
you wouldn't know. You never leave the house.
No, but I had to do some umpire training last week. I had to go out.
Yeah. Well, how do you train an umpire?
Very careful. No. Yeah, you go over the rules with them. You show them the mechanics, the motions they have to. There's a certain way you have to move to make an out call or a safe call. Show them how to get in position. To
Okay.
make a call.
Okay. All right. I just swung
Too much information.
and I'm out. Give me the sign.
I don't really have room in here. One sign is just to go out like that, but that's if it's a routine play. Guys out about 30 feet.
How about a strike? What do you do?
It's the same thing.
So you don't have to teach much at all. I just learned it all.
Strike three. Everybody's got their own strike three call, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a backflip and then a little dance and.
Do you do a backflip? No.
No, not really.
Show us.
Everybody's got to do it. I'm not gonna do it here.
What does the T-shirt say? I agree with you, but when
Then we both be wrong.
I agree with you, but then we both be wrong. Where do you find these T-shirts? All I ever find are these things that tell my age.
They're on Facebook. The ads come up all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're really good at it. You know,
I guess I got nothing else.
you're
to
better
do.
than Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. You know, he's got about 20 different Flash T-shirts on that show. They supposedly put a different T-shirt on him every week on that show when they were doing it.
I believe it.
And John Larkin, what did you do over the 4th of July?
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have nothing to do. I mean, I didn't feel like doing anything either. You know, just
Yeah.
take it easy.
Well, I made the big mistake of saying to Marjorie on, I think it was Sunday, or maybe it was Saturday, because it was good walking weather. It wasn't too hot, but it wasn't too cool either. It was just right. It wasn't very humid. I said, do you want to go walk with me? And she said, sure. And now we are going on the death march to Bataan because she can't just take a walk. You know, I like to stroll, take it easy, walk down the street, maybe walk up a couple of flights of stairs, you know, on the way, get some exercise, right? No, she says we go off into the woods. I go, okay, well, there's a little path here. And I said, now when we get here, we can go down the stairs and then we can go around the lake, right? And she goes, no, let's just keep going up this way. Well, she knows it's the highest hill in all of Central Park. And we're going up the hill. I mean, I had to, she said, you know, we can turn here and go back down the hill. And I said, no, we're going to the top of the hill. And I made it to the top of the hill. But it was like the death march from Bataan. You can see the top of the hill because I did it live on FaceTime. And if you go to the FaceTime page, it's there. But I was exhausted. After we were through, we did about, what was it, 2 miles, I think it was total, or maybe 2.5 miles. And you know, it was, but I was very proud because I didn't give up. I wasn't going to give up to her, right? No, we're going to go to the top of the hill no matter what, says I. Okay.
So you live close to Central Park?
Yeah, I'm about, we're at 16th, Central Park is at 110th, the beginning of it, the top of it. So we're 6 blocks away from it. And I walk down there, and then I walk around the lake, and I think there's some stairs to go up, and I climb up the stairs, you know. I do a little bit of exercise that way. And every day, today I didn't do it because it was 95 fucking degrees out there.
Oh, no shit. It's buddy ballsack weather, as I call it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she said, would you go down and get coleslaw? I said, fuck you. I'm not getting coleslaw in this weather. Are you kidding me?
Be hot slaw by the time you get back.
Yeah, I'm not going down to get coleslaw. So I didn't leave the house. I wasn't about ready to take a walk today. But I've been pretty good about it. Every day that it's reasonable, I take a walk. I take at least.
You're a fair weather walker.
No, I do about 1 mile to 2 miles every day. It depends on where I go. I'm getting tired of the same old route that I go, you know. So
go through the bad neighborhoods then.
Yeah, that'll keep you busy.
That'll keep you on your feet.
No, I don't want to go through the bad neighborhoods because I'm not into running.
That was my point.
Yeah. So, you know what happened here? This was funny. Needless to say, I am in Harlem, and in Harlem there are a lot of black people armed with fireworks. And you know where I'm going with this, Charlie. They start blowing off fireworks, and that's fine. 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, well, you're pushing it now. Midnight, I'm sorry, that should be the cutoff point, but no, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're blowing those things out there. Is it wrong for me to assume that in Harlem it's black people blowing off fireworks, Charlie? Is it?
Georgia has the same people.
Is it reasonable? Okay. I got it from our official black guy here. It's reasonable. Okay. Well, what was it the other night? Around, they were blowing them off like crazy. It was on the 4th of July, blowing them off like crazy. And I say, let the kids do it till midnight. Or whatever. Well, about 12:30, I look down, and all of a sudden, the cops have shown up, and they've got a big paddy wagon. They're ready for them, and they're looking around the neighborhood, and all of a sudden, no more fireworks. The word got out. The cops were there. They were arresting people, and you better not do it. And I went to bed that night, and I said, I don't hear a single. This is the 4th of July. There's not a single fireworks display going up in the air. And I want to find these guys and go, the Macy's one is much better. And also, how smart can you be when you're willing to spend hundreds of dollars just to blow things up? But anyway, it was very quiet. And then all of a sudden, 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what this guy had. But all I could say that if it were a bomb, it would be about this big, okay? And I heard the most earth-shattering explosion, followed by another one, as though it was one of these guys saying to the cops, fuck you, But outside of that, it got very silent. Yes, Brian, and then Alan.
Well, two things. One is if you want to commit a crime by shooting a firearm, 4th of July would be the perfect time to do it. Mm-hmm. And two, every time this happens every year around this time, I'm always harking back to the classic Simpsons episode in the 4th season in which the Middle Eastern guy says to Homer during their vacation, what better way to celebrate your country's independence than by blowing up a part of it?
Yes, Alan.
Just after he purchases illegal fireworks.
Alan.
So, in the news today in the San Francisco paper is the biggest illegal fireworks show was 2 blocks from the Mission Station Police Department.
Really?
In San Francisco. It was big enough that I was driving north on 101 going into the city at 10 o'clock at night, and along 101 on southbound, everybody had pulled over to the side of the road to watch the fireworks display in the Mission for free.
The illegal fireworks display.
Illegal fireworks display. It was pretty spectacular.
It's pretty. Well, listen, it's pretty.
2 blocks from the police.
Some of them are pretty spectacular, but yes. I'm sorry. I think isn't a good cutoff time midnight?
Absolutely.
What are you saying to the after midnight? You're saying to the people who live there, live next to you, fuck you. That's really what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's over?
Yes.
The show's over?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah, Brian.
Well, hopefully Jack got his internet running, or I'm going to be really depressed.
Well, get really depressed. I don't know. I'll wait and see if he comes on. If he doesn't come on, that's it. I'll play one of his old shows. Anyway, hey, listen, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Brian. Good having you here. Good having you here, Alan. Vernon didn't say much tonight, but boy, I love seeing you here. Love knowing you're here. It makes me feel good. Charlie Wallace always makes me feel good. We got the best thoughts going out for you, Steve. And if you can, call us and keep us abreast of what's happening. But thank God you're alive and well, and because I can't afford to lose a listener, and that's the selfish part of me. But good.
And then all those Russian prostitutes that want to be friends.
Yeah. Thank you very much, John Larkin, and thank you to Brian Neary. Whenever I see you there, I know life is okay. Anyway,
and I'm alive.
Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye to you as well. Okay, there they go. That's our citizen panel for tonight, and we'll form another one like crust on bread tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. I don't know if there's going to be Jack Bishop's Intersection next. I have no idea, but if there isn't, I'll put something on here eventually. In the meantime, as always, I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same. Oh, by the way, we have a sports show tomorrow night at 8:30 with Franchise MC. It's a good little sports show if you've never heard it. How would I know? what do I know? Sports. Anyway, but it is great. And I will see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And for those of you who haven't gotten vaccinated yet, God damn it, go out and do it. Nighty-night, everybody.